Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and we're back with another Total War Warhammer video. Today I want to talk about the Ogre Kingdoms and why they would be the best option for the pre-order incentive in Total War Warhammer 3. Before anything, apologies for the random posting times lately, it's just there's been a massive heatwave and I'm recording late at night instead of during the afternoon now. So, the Ogre Kingdoms are one of the most anticipated races for Total War Warhammer, an army of monstrous infantry paired with even larger monsters. Not only that, but they have powerful magic and very powerful ranged weaponry too. It's obviously no surprise that people want the Ogre Kingdoms as soon as possible. We knew we were going to get the Ogre Kingdoms in Warhammer 3 eventually, but we just didn't know when, and speculation was mostly focused around them being the first DLC for Warhammer 3 post-release. Of course, that theory has been changed quite heavily since recent announcements where ogres will be available as ogre mercenaries in Warhammer 2, where now it's incredibly obvious that they've had some sort of team working on the Ogre Kingdoms DLC for the future. We've received 5 units, and I would have not talked about this much if it was just the standard ogre balls and the man-eaters, as when you get a singular unit, say for example an ogre ball, you can reuse assets again to make a ogre ball with additional hand weapons, and some basic assets to then make the man-eaters. But obviously they've included Mournfang Cavalry too, which means a completely new extra model had to be created for this, so it can be assumed that development is very much underway. In fact, it very much feels that the inclusion of ogre mercenaries was more of a public reaction test. Release a few units early and see how people react to them, how they use them and so on, and then eventually announce the Ogre Kingdoms as a pre-order incentive. In a way, I'd say that the player base as a whole might just be one giant focus test, which I guess makes sense? Now, of course, there are many people who want other races to be the pre-order incentive. I myself was actually very much banking on the Chaos Dwarfs or the Dogs of War. If I had to be completely honest, I would much rather prefer the Dogs of War over the Ogre Kingdoms or the Chaos Dwarfs, as they would eventually become DLC anyway. Though after thinking about it heavily, we can easily debunk the Dogs of War, mainly because they wouldn't want to do a pre-order incentive where the race is only available in one specific area. As we are aware, the majority of Dogs of War camps are either in the New World or in the Old World, not in the Far East. And we don't want another repeat of the Norska debacle, do we? I think the last thing anyone wants is to play with a new race in Warhammer 2 for a few weeks, and then not be able to play with them again for, what was it, 6-9 months? It feels around that time. So it makes sense to release some Ogre units now, only having those available in Warhammer 2 to have people play around with them with any faction as we're aware, and then release the Ogre Kingdoms with the launch of Total War Warhammer 3. Which means that we wouldn't only have the Demons of Chaos factions, Cathay and Kislev, but also the Ogre Kingdoms too. A large majority of us were also thinking it was Chaos Dwarfs, but then again what I've just literally said about the Dogs of War could be the same situation for, of course, the Chaos Dwarfs. Plus, considering the fact that a large portion of the Darklands is in the Warhammer 2 Mortal Empires map, many people would expect them to be playable already, and then that would lead once again to the Norska issue. Now, there are 2 strong reasons as to why the Ogre Kingdoms are likely to be the pre-order incentive. First up, it's the lack of characters. The Ogre Kingdoms really don't have that many characters available in their lore. In fact, I've just checked the 8th edition army book for the Ogre Kingdoms, and they only have 4 named characters. 2 Lord options and 2 Hero options. It could very well be possible that they might leave a character or 2 out to be able to have future DLC content, as obviously the way to keep Total War games going is not just through the base game but also through DLC packs. Even the Tomb Kings, one of the most complete race packs we've ever had for the Total War Warhammer series, still has some stuff missing from lore, and some characters too. I'm assuming that those will eventually be added in through a DLC involving Nagash. Perhaps the biggest reason why could also just be geographically. You see, if we look at the Warhammer Fantasy World map, you can tell where all the races and factions are going to be if you know more or less by lore. We know that the Mountains of Morn, which is the location where the grand majority of ogres call home, are located in one of the eastern portions of the map, yes, And not only that, but it's pretty much surrounded by the northern territories held by Chaos, the western territories held by Kislev, and the eastern territories held by Cathay. The Ogre Kingdoms being right smack in the middle makes it kinda bare if they don't get released on launch. This isn't like the Chaos Dwarves, who basically just border the lands of the World's Edge Mountains in Kislev. This is a territory which is right smack in the middle of what can be presumed to be the playable map for Warhammer 3's launch. Imagine an area as large as the Mountains of Morn being populated by more reskin factions. As much as the greenskins do play quite well at the moment, as presumably they'd probably put greenskins there, it would be kinda immersion breaking. I mean, it still kinda is when you play in the Mortal Empires and you go through the Southern Realms and there are no Southern Realms. Though I'd say it would be far more noticeable when it comes to the Ogre Kingdom territories. Another possible point is that we have a lot of Chaos and Order factions at the moment. The Ogre Kingdoms are neutral and it kinda breaks up the flavor too. Adding in Chaos Dwarves would just be another Chaos faction. Ogres will be a nice fit here due to the factor of alignment. They're neutral, as I said, and it will just be better to have something so drastically different. I've seen a lot of speculation since the Ogres were announced regarding the 9th Legendary Lord. Some people believe that the 9th Legendary Lord will be an Ogre, but I very much doubt that, as if that was the case, then they would have announced Ogres at announcement. But these are just my thoughts revolving around the Ogres. I honestly do believe that they would be the best option regarding Total War Warhammer 3 and the pre-order incentive, though I could be very wrong and Creative Assembly could end up surprising us. But what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and let's start a bit of a discussion. But with that, my friends, we've come to the end of our video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, might I suggest giving the video a like, or even subscribing to the channel, as it really does help us out. In the description section below are various links to different social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and Discord. Also in the description section is an affiliate link with Element Games where you could buy loads of hobby-based products, not just Warhammer, for 10 to 25% off. Making a purchase using that link and also our special code, which is also in the description, supports the channel at no extra cost to you, which we think is rather cool. A big thank you to our patrons. Your support means the world to us. It's amazing that people want to help a small channel like us grow and get to a higher level of content. A big thank you to Gibraltar LUSC, Ryan Bertsche, Andrew Prince, and Okro for subscribing to us at our Fane level. You guys are super cool. And a big thank you to Edward Yule, VS Vasan, Aaron Whitman, and Shaggy for subscribing to us at our King level. Honestly, we can't thank you all enough. And lastly, a big thank you to all of you for liking, sharing, and commenting on these videos. Honestly, it's because of you guys that the channel's been growing at such a great pace lately, so we can't thank you all enough. But with that, my friends, thank you so much for watching once again, and we shall see you all again very, very soon. Have a good day.